Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 625. Today we're doing Battle with the Ranger and Backpack Battles. And so, continuing that grind on the way up to Masters, I assure you in this video, we're not going to be trying to make wands. We're not going to be trying to make mana thirsts. That shit's just garbage. I do feel like I felt like I figured out the way to make it work. The way that you're looking to do is actually mana torch, mana thirst, whatever the blue sword is, and then Holy Spear. I think those are the three that you're looking for. Gives you the scaling that you want and a lot of attacky based stuff, but good fucking luck getting all that together. Anywho, at any rate, we've got the Pyromancer badge out here early, and I am more than happy to try and pick this badge up. Typically, whenever this badge comes up, the thing that I'm going to be looking for is either making a hero burning sword, or we're going to make a thorn whip. I know those names aren't exactly correct. Flame whip is the one that tends to be a little bit easier to make, and then the other one was the burning blade. The big deal with these is that generation of heat. The burning blade generating a heat on hit, and then the flame whip generating a ton of heat on hit. And if you've been following along with the way that I talk about the way that we just generally build the ranger to where you start out early with the thorn shield, you might pick up a tusk poker, you then look to kind of build over into some kind of thorn whip item. It all just works with the flame whip, except the flame whip lets you get up to like 100 heat, and then you get that 200% bonus on all of your pets. And so all of your pets do faster stuff, all of your food activates faster. And so, while typically with something like the Flame Whip, when you max out like that, you run out of stamina and don't have anything to do, we have tons of stuff to do as far as the pets are concerned. And so, that's probably what we'll look to come out here and build with the Flame Badge. We'll see if something interesting pops up, as far as like chili peppers or something happens, but it's probably going to be a build out towards that Flame Whip. As far as the rest of the start goes, it's kind of shitty. I'm fine to come out here and make a torch early. We can almost immediately switch this over into Burning Torch, which is a very good early game item. Still want to pick up the other attacky weapon here in the beginning, and then the sustain out of the banana. And so, good start, good stuff, good fun. No wands in sight, huh? Good stuff. And oh, I forgot. There was a patch this morning. I've kind of edited the way that I'm finding the time to make these videos, and the patch kind of hit me by surprise. It looks like the devs are trying to push the game into like a slower format, so that if you look, like I don't have it pulled up. The stuff that was good is worse, and all the armors are better. There's the patch highlights for you, but the items that really matter to me, I feel like were the armors. Like essentially every armor in the game caught a shit. I can just push this button, right? It's not because that far away. Like all of the armors got bonuses, right? Shielded, upgraded. And then if you scroll down, like blood amulet, oh, that's the blood amulet. Holy armor, vampiric armor, moon armor, corrupted armor, stone armor, all get updates. So that's big. The stone gloves gets an upgrade, and so there's some more bonuses to go there. And the things like the platinum customer card catching buff protections. And so just trying to make these armors all better seems to be what this patch was about. And then a little bit of edits in terms of the skills. So Piggy Pinata caught a buff, Slime Time caught a buff, Shielded caught a buff, Hardwood caught a buff, which is kind of scary. Smithing for Dummies caught a nerf, Stoned caught a buff, and Mana Mastery caught a buff. And so all of the bad ones got better. And then things like Power of the Moon, I have a hard time telling if Power of the Moon is actually a buff or a nerf. Hitting fatigue faster is good for, say, like a Reaper trying to do a fatigue build, but sometimes you want this the big heal to actually hit a little bit later. And so I don't have a real solid opinion on that, but I could definitely see it going either way. And so back to the battles here, I'm looking to make this flame spear here early, and then we can use that to kind of transition into the flame whips should they turn up. And so here are the upgrades. I'm going to make that molten spear. Definitely want to come in and pick up this healing herbs. Make sure we get a little bit of sustain in our build. Not too worried about the spear getting these shreds right here at the beginning. You know, if I didn't mention it, we would run into somebody that has a leather armor. If I did mention it, then they wouldn't. But it feels like kind of a coin flip as if you're going to run into any armor. And I prefer to just put items on board as opposed to fighting trying to deal with the opposing armors. Not surprised to see this happen either, to where we upgrade to the molten spear and then immediately find the thorn whip, and so we can't complain on this too hard. We did find exactly what we're looking for here, but I'm not quite ready to transition over to this thorn whip. We're going to need to get an additional flame to do it, so we're going to have to wait around for that. And so let's just like roll a little bit and see if anything interesting turns up. Do want the wooden buckler though, and so I think I'm on board with just selling stuff to get here. So let's sell off the clover. We'll pick up the buckler. We can still upgrade this burning torch. I think it still sells for the same. I think it still sells for 3. But I think essentially what we'll see happen is next turn we're going to get the thorn whip. We'll sell the molten spear, but then we will 2 turns from now sell off the other item, the burning thing, whatever it's called. But we can do this at least a little better, right? At least a little bit better. Get these this 1 hex in front of the molten spear so that we can say we did it, Learning from the pros, professional FTP bust coming at you with the best backpack battles. Getting that getting that activation in there on the flame whip. No armor from the opponent, but still crushed him pretty handily. So, all right, what do we got here? And so I'm a huge fan of Smelly Wall. I think that this probably needed to get nerfed in the previous patch. We aren't really pushing towards a Smelly Wall build here. The thing with the Smelly Wall is I like it in the sense it's good early to where if we have like 1 or 2 garlics, it really hard carries you into the mid game. And then it's good late in the sense if you have some kind of build to where you have, say, like a hero Goobert and a vampiric armor and maybe a shield, the activations on this thing tied back into that Goobert just really pops off in terms of getting activations and putting some incidental poisons onto the opponent. And so that's the way I like to go for this, but I don't think anything with our build is actually going to want to use the Smelly Wall. We're not going to get the activations out of it. We don't have any garlics. We didn't lock in the garlic on the previous round. Like, I don't think this is going to pop off. I'm actually looking down here towards the slime time and maybe getting some extra pet activations happening out of these things. I think this is going to be our probable best opportunity here. We'll purchase it and probably have a garlic immediately show up, but dims to break sometimes. All right, definitely want to get our molten whip generating. Let's see, how does that fit? Perfect. And then I guess we could just already sell the burning torch. We're not exactly going to stamina out at this point, but it is kind of close. I was looking to add in the lump of coal. Like, if we don't have the room for the burning torch this turn, we're just not going to use it, right? I mean, I guess we can put it here. That makes sense. That's probably good enough for the round. Keep the banana on lock. I do want to pick up one of these oil lamps so that we have the scaling. But we have other things we need to find at this point. We need to get our wooden buckler upgraded. We need more bags. We need to find a pineapple. The pineapple is the big important thing to get this whip activated, and we should be able to find an oil lamp later. Even if we can't find the oil lamp, might get a gen lamp or something. And so I think this is okay here. Keep the goobling in. All right, let's hit that button. Okay, not sure who wins this one. We're going to run out of stamina here early. It's a bit of a bummer. Don't have any garlics to take away his vampiric sustains either. Yeah, looks like we're falling down. Definitely need to get that banana that was out in the shop. But definite big upgrades here. So happy to get this flame whip online. Yeah, the burning torch only sells for 3. 100% picking up the bag. The banana looks good. I'm not certain how I feel about leather armors in this build. I typically just build holy armors, and so I think we'll let it go. I have been a little bit more interested in the vampiric armors, is why I bring it up. But let's skip past that. Anything interesting here? We got the walrus tusk for our buckler. At least gives us a way to generate stamina for the whip, since it's currently not getting any. The carrot, I'm kind of okay with. Like, I'm trying to get in my head if we want to be picking up a Goobert this round, since we have some of the Goobert stuff. Especially with, like, this slime time. I'm not super excited about this guy. I usually just sell it, but if we're generating a bunch of heat, it can activate down our Gooberts faster. So it might be a thing. We might want to build towards a carrot Goobert. I think I would prefer chili, but it's kind of up in the air. It is worth noting that the carrot Goobert, what do you call it? It got changed. It's a ranger item, right? Carrot Goobert. The activations kick up from 5 to 6, so it takes one more activation to activate, and then the duration on the empowered lasts 1 second longer. And so again, like I haven't had a chance to really soak in how good that is. It may be good, it may not be good, but he's definitely more challenging to activate. It's a little tougher to build up those empowered stacks on the big, the yellow whip, whatever it's called. Okay, so do we want the carrot? I think I'll pick up the carrot here. At least gives us the better activations on our bananas. So something like this looks reasonable. I don't even really want the slime time in here. This thing's garbage. Probably just want to sell it, right? I mean, I don't even really want the Gooberts to be turning up. Looking at this as just kind of an early game item with this goobling. I guess it can activate twice when we get the pet thing, though. I don't know. I'm looking for any excuse possible just to get rid of that shit. But let's see. Good thing we got the carrot in here right as we're about to battle against a poison round. I planned it that way. Seems like we're still struggling, though. Need the thorn generation. Our heat capped out. We aren't scaling up here. So the pineapple needs to be the top priority in what we're looking for at this space. All right, so there's a big goob. Yeah, definitely going to skip past it. Let's do at least pick up a little bit of a bag. Right, there's no guarantees that a pineapple is going to turn up. Definitely interested in the chili pepper and this on sale lump of coal. The charcoals tend to be pretty good as a way to just keep this heat generation up and running. Not a terrible on hit bonus, and so I think this is it. What do we got here? Dude making a mana thirst. Highly advise against it, my friend. I'm glad I can be here to be here to give you some unsolicited advice. And say I don't recommend it. All right, how do we feel about these though? The flutes are a way to kind of come out and generate stamina. I don't think we're gonna really be aiming for it in this build though. I think I want to stick more towards the foods and stuff. It's close with these. The thing that I really like about flutes and why they've been growing on me here in recent patches is from where I've been going for these Thorn Whip builds so much. The Gen Lamp activation is actually the big scaling thing that we want, and it's very easy with these pet builds to get clovers and get thorns and get mana. It's very challenging to get armor. You typically don't have the means to get armor outside of the very beginning of the battle, unless you're activating a flute, with the flute hitting for 14 armor. That 14 armor then lets the Gen Lamp activate. And so that's one of the reasons I'm kind of stalling here, kind of thinking about it. It's just off theme for what we're trying to do with the foods and the pets and the flame generation. And we still just need to find a pineapple, which is the big thing to me. So I think I'm okay to just roll past this round. I am a little interested in the goobling, we can take the goobling and then make the chili goobert. It only costs 1 chili pepper, so it's not that challenging to come out and make. Whereas the carrot goobert takes 2. So maybe we pick this guy up. It's very mana efficient at least, and then just take a roll, see if we can't find what we're looking for. I'm just going to sell this slime time. I don't want these little gooblings showing up in the shop anymore. All right, next round. Fancy fencing, don't really want. Garlic, not super interested in. I don't want to be too aggressive in our rolling here, but not really happy with what's turning up. Pick up a fanny pack. The Molten Dagger is strong. I think that we should probably get one. It's, as you don't use stamina with this, it gets to keep striking, and it does give us a way to kind of scale down the big amount of heat that we generate here. So I think we want to add that one in, and then we'll just stop rolling for the moment. Okay. Our bags are kind of fucked, though. We got to at least come back and get these sorted a little bit. We can do something like this. I'm not really interested in speed bagging the flame whip. I just don't think it's a necessity. Maybe, well, if we're going to speed bag this dagger, we might as well speed bag the flame whip out of the same one, right? So I think that's probably okay. Let's get these bags lined up in some kind of working fashion here. That looks good. We need the 2 flames on the dagger. Did it. We want to upgrade the gooblings into goobert. And I guess we'll want to push everything else out this way. Looking at something like this. To where the gooblings are upgrading, the dagger's upgrading, we're getting the bananas as fast as we can. Probably not going to flame out in this round, but we do have the chili pepper generating flames, and then the 2 burning coals generating flames, so it's not like we're just going to immediately stop when we run out of thorns. And so I do want to keep those bananas to keep our attacks up and running. All right, so yeah, it's the pineapple again. The big thing, the scaling damage. We're gonna have to come back and look for. I know we've skipped on a bit of the scaling damage, but I think we've approached it in kind of a reasonable way. See if these gooblings will give us those big heals we need to get out of this round. Very close. Fuck. Got him down to 4. That's crazy. That's crazy how close that battle was. Alright, so picking up the Beastmaster. Bunch of garbage in this shop. Definitely need to look to pick up some bags here. So we'll get the stamina sack. I'm going to let the potion belt go so we can keep rolling. We get that holy spear. That's what all the crowd wants, right? To get this holy spear online. No thank you. So 2 cost bags, sure. I'm fine to add in a second carrot. We have the choice here, right, to either make the carrot goobert or the chili pepper. And I don't think the carrot goobert's really going to do it for me. I just if we're not gaining the health off of it, I'm not particularly interested in that ability. And so I'm gonna just add in the chili goobert here. Dig that. Get that big bowl of treats up and running. And then see what we can do with these bananas. It's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be awkward. It's got 4 hexes. There we go. It's just like this. I knew it would come to me. We want to rotate this around a little bit though, so the good activations are hitting around the train a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think this is good. We at least do have a bit of scaling attack now in this Molten Dagger. When it hits, it gets +2 damage. This is not the end-all, be-all of good, attack stuff, but we have something. We have something to scale. And just got to find that pineapple, the quest of the day. At least it's not like the mana builds to where your build is just completely fucked if the pineapple doesn't make its way out here, right? Like we get some thorn generation out of this big bowl of treats, and so it's not this like, oh fuck, our build is completely done for, but it most certainly helps in every way. All right, though, we got our first pet turning up, little squirrel making an appearance. I appreciate that. Continue to roll. Want the stamina sack for certain. That's it. That's where we got to stop. So with the flames, the important thing to note with these flames that we're still getting is we can generate things like the sun armor. Like we're certainly going to make a sun armor over the course of this game. The question is, do I want 2 flames or do I want 4 flames so I can also make a sun shield without having to invest in like a moon shield, right? And so 4 flames is where I want to be. Once we get up to 4, I'm just going to sell off this flame badge. I don't really want it sticking around. I'd rather have the money that comes out of that. So we'll get this going. I'm going to lock this corrupted crystal. Still would like to find a whatchamacallit, corrupted cap if that wants to come about, but let's get it going. Off to the races. Alright. Frosty Boy doesn't have his big frosty weapon. What the fuck is this? Not used to seeing these flutes coming out on a pyromancer, especially a frosty version of them. Yippee. Man, our stamina was like nowhere near running out that round. It was kind of wild to see. I'm used to it just being like down to 0 quick, and then when you add in a Wolpentinger, that's when it stops draining, but interesting. Alright though, which of these do we want? The power of the moon, the heal is kind of tempting, but I think we'll just go with the old standby here and stoned. Take that corrupted crystal. We've got a fanny pack turning up, sure. Pineapple, where are you? Nope, let's just keep rolling for it. On sale bag is fine. We've got our 4 flames at this point, so we could probably just sell the flame badge after this round. But yeah, bit of a bummer with the old pineapples here. Or would we want to? Maybe this is what we do. Like we can just go ahead and sell it. And then pick up another pet here in the rat. It is the rat did get nerfed in this patch as well, which was kind of surprising to me. I'm not entirely certain why this was too good, but the rat chef did catch a nerf. Let's see. Something like starting to come out like this will probably be fine. Get these foods up into the speed zones. That's what it's called. It's the speed zone. All right, lock the potion belt. It's just that like one hex down here that's that's burning my brain. I think we'll be okay. I was wanting to get these bananas next to the carrots, but I think this will be fine. Oh, with the stone, we don't have any way to generate armor. Shit, we should have taken one of those garlics or come back to a flute or something. Oops. Seems like we're still okay this round. This guy's stamina monster. Okay, good stuff. So a shield does turn up. Not certain if we're excited about it at this exact point. We could take the shield and just sell off the spiked shield, but like it's our only way of generating thorns consistently, right? That big bowl of treats isn't exactly it, which is a bit of a bummer. But it's like if we're gonna pick up the Shield of Valor, we're gonna need like the bag space that comes out of this. So that probably just has to go. And we can look to do the shield. Get these flames in here so it will turn into Sun Shield, and then again we'll keep the 2 flames behind so that we can make a holy armor if it ever turns up. We'll put a lock-in on the fanny pack here. So yeah, I mean it's reasonable. The stuff that's happening isn't too crazy. You just haven't found that pineapple to make the build really come in and pop off. Oh, this is shitty. Just the round before we have the ranged blocker here. We might be okay. He didn't immediately OTK us. No, that was close. Damn, that's what you hate to see, huh? You're out here going against the guy with the double Fortuna's Grace and the bow when you've got your Shield of Valor on upgrade. It's such a bummer that we would have 100% won that round if the Shield of Valor was online. But okay, here's our chance to pop, right? The pineapple is turned up. We can take the fanny pack here. I don't think we want any more of these rats. It's not a like super critical item to have out here. So I'm gonna skip past this. I don't want to have to come out and purchase another like food to get this stamina stuff regenerating. Like it's probably not even that great with what our build has it going on, but it was fairly cost effective, I think. Okay, so pineapples online. Let's just do something like this, right? Get the items that we care about really out here and activating. The pineapple and the big ones, the big bowl of treats and the big ones. Probably should have done that just a little bit earlier. The bummer with this is our activator down here on the carrot isn't catching the bonuses off the big bowl of treats. Do we want to shift it down? I don't think so. I think this is okay. We'll just stay maxed out on our pineapple time up here. Is it? I mean, we do have. This is probably the way we want it to be, right? We want this pineapple. It's just as fast as the carrot. Okay, okay. We're gonna look to just make the whole bottom of the bags. Almost all the bottom of the bags fanny packs. We're still going to have this squirrel in some of them as well. Like this, like this. I think that's where we want to be. Get our shield in a place. Okay, okay. All right, that feels like an upgrade, huh? I think that feels good. The pineapple in the good spot, squirrel doing his thing, sure. All of our weapons over here are okay. All right, let's push the button. Whew, just see, it's a bummer we're down to this like 1 health point now. It's like when the things finally start to come together. We've lost it a little bit. Yeah, we're getting crushed here now. Ugh. Grind them out, friends. We're not gonna grind them out. Bummer. And so that was tough. We didn't catch a super far run along with this. We only made it about halfway through. Probably lost like 4 or 5 LP on this game. But I'm still happy with how this played out at the end of the game. Only -3 at the end of the day. I do. Whenever I see that that Pyromancer badge turn up, I do just shoot for this build every single time. The pain point that we had here was not finding the pineapple until the last round. That's just the thing that really gets everything going. We were hitting like 30 and 40 heat, excuse me, in all those previous rounds, and you could see us jumping up to 65 in this one. We just weren't quite able to get ourselves ahead enough to make this stuff work, and we did kind of run into this crappy pain point here as well, as to where we had the stoned and then the goobert. We had to sell all of that off when we're up against both a class item and an active stoned off of both the dragon scale armors and the activations of the gloves of power. And so a bit of a bummer with the skills. I think the things that we really missed out on this one were we should have picked up a garlic at some point. Just having that garlic or a flute, one or the other, to have some generation on that shielded would have been exceptionally important, right? The thing with that is, like, even if you have 4 armor, whenever you get hit, that's going to give you that 40% chance to prevent the attack from being critical. And it doesn't matter if you have a big wall of armor, you just need like 2 points of armor. And so not picking up one of the garlics along the way, we most certainly could have done. And I think that that was our big mistake out of this game. And things like, picking up this rat chef we didn't really need are kind of incidental, even though he does activate pretty fast and help us scale up some of these weapons. And so from this specific game point in general, I think that was the thing, just not having the armor gain when we had the stoned ability. But the two things I want to call out with this are, otherwise the build was going the way that I like to chase after this. So even though we didn't make it to the very end, we didn't have this kind of penultimate build as far as the flame build goes. This is what you're looking to do, right? You want to get this flame whip as early as you can. You want to fuel the flame whip with the pineapple and with the thorn shield, and then you're using all of this heat generation to come in and get bigger activations off the rest of your foods and off of your squirrels. And so for whatever reason you do run out of stamina, you're still generating all of those abilities across the board. And then things like the squirrel really add in to being nice with that, right? To where we get that extra scaling ability to where not only does everything we have attack faster, we get to steal all of our opponent's buffs, and then that stuff starts to attack faster. And then this also works nicely if you can turn it into that squirrel archer. And so go for the whip early. You want to get those 4 additional flames so you can make a sun armor and you can make a sun shield. And then you just want to get rid of the pyromancer thing. You don't really want any more pyromancer buffs after that. As far as things to kind of change with this, the last thing to call out is I'm not certain how much stamina we can carry, right? As you were watching all of these battles, right? I mean, this thing, it says it uses 2.1 stamina per second, but we ran out of it just literally never, right? We just had the 2 bananas as our only stamina gain, and we couldn't outdo the 2 bananas as far as stamina usage goes. So we should have probably had another item in the mix out here. We could have just held on to that flame spear, and that probably would have been fine. Just something else to spend stamina is what we were lacking with this. And so I think that was a pain point. And so the actual last thing to say before we go is I'm so happy with this build in the sense that it felt like we were in it the entirety of the way. As far as these build around kind of things go, as we played 2 rounds of mage builds in the previous video, and the builds were just completely fucked because the mana orb didn't show up. This build wasn't, right? This build wasn't completely fucked just because the pineapple didn't show up to help it pop off. And that's one of the nice things to have happen with this, right? It wasn't ideal only having a thorn shield and having the big bowl of treats as thorns generators, but it helps carry you along until it does eventually show up. And then if the pineapple didn't show up, we just wouldn't go into survival rounds. We definitely wouldn't have been able to hold our own there. And if it had showed up early, we would have conserved 2 or 3 hearts and we would have definitely made it to the survival round. And so it's just such a big difference between that last game and this one, to where in the last games mana orb doesn't show up and you're like, oh cool, we just fucking lose. And with the games like this, to where you're like, well, we're still in it, right? We still have the opportunity to take these battles down, even though our build isn't super optimal. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and we thank you for being here.